Well, my no is very different. Brings us back to Australia here, and it comes to us courtesy of TikTok. Namely the TikTok Awards, and namely what several creators say happened on the red/pink carpets at the TikTok Awards, which was racist treatment. So the awards happened, depending on you're listening to this, over a week ago. However, in the last few days or so, there have been a slew of content creators that have come out and talked about being treated really poorly on the red carpet. Now, these women are Black content creators. One of them is a creator called Niel, who has 418,000 followers on TikTok. Not a small amount there with, she does like a lot of kind of, lifestyle, humor, skits. Anyway, she posted a video, and this was sort of the original.
I saw this.
Did you see?
Yes.
So she posted a video on the red carpet of her being approached by someone who had identified themselves as a TikTok employee, and they spoke to her fairly rudely. I'm going to play you the video so you can judge yourself, but it was pretty rude. And just some background here before we get to that video so it makes sense. There are 2 carpets at the TikTok Awards. There's one for nominees and presenters, and that's where the media is. And then there's another red carpet/wall, which is has a TikTok background, and you can take a photo of yourself as a creator there. Doesn't have the media lineup, right? We'll get to why that matters in just a second. But here is a snippet of what happened. This is the video that Niel posted.
This is for all the media.
Well, that's not our fault. That's the information.
Yeah, but this has nothing to do with you. We don't need your photo. We're not, they're not going to. What are they going to do with your photo?
Wow.
No, it's not going to go anywhere.
That's crazy.
It's not going to go
That
anywhere.
is rude as fuck.
No, but I'm saying they're working for the press.
So sorry.
Okay, so what are they going to do with your photo? He's presumably talking about the media photographers and the paparazzi that are stationed there. What are they going to do with your photo? He's going to take your photo. What are they going to do?
Yeah,
with
so
it?
it's this has nothing to do with you.
Yeah,
what you're on the wrong wall. But meanwhile, they had been told to head over to that particular area where they were, and she makes it clear in that video, right?
I don't want to diminish for a second her experiences. I just want to give a bit of context for how brutal red carpets can be.
Oh, they suck.
Every time I've been on a red carpet, unless you are Naomi Watts or Nicole Kidman or Rose Byrne, they usually, I've had times where they come to lift their camera and they put their camera back down. They're like, nah, fuck her, we're not photographing her.
Dude, do you want to work for SBS's The Feed and go to the Logies and stand behind someone from Home and Away, and then you get onto the red carpet and the photographers are you can tell, their entire face is who the fuck are you?
Yeah. So sometimes there's a combination of,
but they'll be like, all right, I guess I'll take a photo of whoever this person is.
Or they'll come up to you and go, oh, what's your name again? Or whatever. So it is often a very humbling experience, especially if you are not a superstar. That's been my experience.
Okay, that's fair. And I'm sure that is a common experience that people on red carpets have, all the time. As somebody who's done many, I can attest. Yes. However, I think that video is one thing.
Oh, I've never been spoken to.
I have never been spoken to like that on a red carpet. That's number one. And number two, it wasn't just one person. So there was another TikTok creator called Florence Beto who has 1.1 million followers. She is a beauty creator, and she posted a video talking about her experience on the red carpet of being ignored by photographers, of essentially being hustled off and treated really poorly. And this is a person that was nominated. She was a nominee in the beauty category for Best Beauty Creator. TikTok had nominated her. They had flown her out there. She was just doing the thing that all nominees
you're
were supposed to.
welcome at our awards, but you're not really welcome.
Yeah. And so it's okay, well, hang on a second. Florence is a Black woman, by the way, in case anybody was wondering. And so for it to happen to multiple people in different ways, I think there's something else going on here.
I started seeing these videos pop up more and more on socials in the days after the TikTok Awards, but I was surprised that it didn't receive more coverage. Because I went to the Daily Telegraph, because at the same time I saw so much from the Daily Telegraph about the TikTok Awards.
Oh yeah, there was heaps of coverage.
And I had to kind of do a double take on, are these the same awards? What's going on? Because on dailytelegraph and news.com.au, there were several articles, including one about creators have labelled the event a mess. So I was like, oh, this must be about what this mess is about. Nope, no Black creators, no allegations of racism. There was even two stories about someone getting their dress caught in an escalator, but no story about this racism in Black TikTok creators. There are also these stories about Adam Hyde, Abby Chatsfield's partner, maybe wearing the same suit that he wore to the Arias. So they had plenty of column space to look at the TikTok Awards, but not
Not
by
these
these
allegations of
creators who
racism.
between them have millions of followers.
Yeah. I did see it covered initially at the weekend by ZFeed, which is
Yes.
an independent newsletter run by Crystal Andrews, who works at Crikey. It's her sort of thing that she does.
Yeah.
And also by Backcover News, which is also an independent outlet, in an article written by Mbenge Sendaluka.
Yeah.
They specifically spoke about the allegations of racism.
And then
but-
just yesterday I saw Pedestrian.
Yes, but that's because TikTok issued
A statement.
a statement.
Yeah.
And they reported on the statement and on the apology. But we'll get to that in a second. The point that I want to make is that there were so many creators. You know when you go on TikTok and the algorithm's so aggressive and you just like you watch one video and then you just get served 100 of kind of similar-ish
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah, there were so many
I was
videos.
seeing so many videos that people had made specifically about this issue. And one of them was a creator called Maxi, who has 637,000 followers on TikTok. She's been a creator for 5 years. She does like motherhood, lifestyle, fitness. And she was the person filming with Niel when
Okay.
that whole thing happened, right? And I just want you to listen to the video that she posted on TikTok as well.
This is not a new experience. This is something that happens to Black creators and creators of color in general in Australia. We are always treated less than. People will try to gaslight us and say, it is not racism, everything's not about skin color, but it is. So glad that we got it on video because I know no one's gonna believe us if we didn't have it on video.
Because I can't imagine somebody being spoken to and dismissed that way if they went onto the wrong carpet, if they were some, quintessentially Aussie-looking summer babe, beach babe type TikTok creator.
Yeah.
I can't imagine them being spoken to and dismissed in that way.
Yeah, so I spoke to Maxi. I gave her a call and, she was like, it feels so shitty. She was very humiliated. But the one thing that she said to me that I found like so revelatory and kind of sad, to be honest, and I'm sure she won't mind me saying, because I told her I was going to kind of bring it up on the pod, was that so much of her audience, and remember, she's got over 600,000 followers, so many of them are in the US. And so much of like the brand deals that she gets are American brands and come through the US. They don't come through the Australian content industry. And so she was saying that at some point she just decided to kind of like give up on this space because Black creators were not valued in the same way here as they are in other places, right? And I just like to kind of like bring this all back because I think that, when people think racism, it can sometimes be very hard to pinpoint. And I'm sure there'll be like a lot of like fucking people in the comments like, it's not racism, yada, yada, yada. Everybody gets treated
She was
like
on the wrong carpet.
She was on the wrong carpet,
He
blah,
was
blah,
just
blah.
having a bad day.
Yeah.
All of the things.
But I just want to play you one of the things that Niel said in her video because I think it's kind of indicative of the way that racism works.
Because again, one of the biggest things that we struggle with as Black creators is being seen in Australian media. When you see these articles about TikTok content creators, you're rarely seeing the Black content creators because we're not going to do these interviews at the events. We're not going to speak to press. We're not being seen on these articles as Australian TikTok content creators. In fact, the biggest question I get, I was going to say the most common thing you guys say to me when you meet me in real life is this: I didn't know that you're from Australia. I thought you were from the UK or I thought you lived in the US. And why do they think that? Because they don't see us in Australian media.
I'm almost certain that those articles about the dresses being stuck in an escalator were people just attending the TikTok awards.
Yeah.
They weren't finalists. They weren't anybody, with hundreds of thousands of followers of notes, but they get articles about their dresses.
Yeah, exactly. But so like the question of like, oh, well, why were they there in the first place? It's like if you're a Black content creator and you feel like you've been ignored, like a lot of your deals don't come from Australia, like
or
the
people
industry,
don't even know that you're
people
Australian.
don't even know that you're Australian. They don't value you. If you're trying to get yourself, like front and center or in the media because this apparatus does not aid you in doing that, like, can you blame them for wanting to do that? And then when they do, they get treated the way that they're treated. So there's actually like a kind of a structural issue of Black creators like not being valued over time.
So what did TikTok have to say when it released its statement?
Well, so the statement that TikTok released was basically saying, we're deeply sorry. The weather. They blame the weather. They said the weather, I know. They said it was raining and then they had to move everybody inside and that caused a chaotic scene and
so
they're
there weren't
deeply
two
sorry.
carpets in the end?
There were two carpets, but they attributed the chaos on the carpets to the logistics.
To the guy saying, what are they going to do with the photograph?
Yeah,
Rain does that sometimes. It's hard.
Oh, actually, They have responded.
Oh, because you sent a bunch of specific
I
questions.
sent a bunch of specific questions, and I basically said, like, do you accept that there was racism at the carpet, on the carpet? Please find our statement here. Okay, well, I've already found that statement on TikTok.
The general one?
Yeah,
so they've just sent the general one back.
They've just sent the general one, and please see below for further information on background. Okay, thank you. So we got just a comment on background that I can't share, which is negligible, sort of. And then the statement that they had already put on TikTok, which was like, oh, the weather made us do it. All right, cool.
Good job.
Great. Here's the thing with TikTok. They've known about exclusion of Black creators for a while because Nielle has been emailing. She emailed them in 2021 about another event that Black creators were not invited to, saying, hey, you've had this event in Sydney. Black creators were not invited to this event. It really sucks that you've got so many Black creators on TikTok doing all of this work and we don't get represented at these events. What the hell's going on? I think it was called the For You Fest. Okay. For You Fest in Sydney in 2021. Okay. And TikTok responded and they said, thank you for your feedback. It will inform how we plan and progress in 2022 and it's so valuable, right?
But so then the rain happened. Then it was really hard again.
So one of the questions that I put to them was like, is TikTok aware that these creators contacted them in 2021 saying that they felt excluded from certain events, and how are you going to redress this? What has been done in the past few years to ensure that Black creators are not excluded from events in TikTok? And I just got please find our statement here that you've already seen, and here's one thing on background that doesn't pertain to that.
That's terrible.
So yeah, that's where we're at. But shout out to all of them for speaking out, because I think it is stressful to put yourself out there, to bear the brunt of like shitty comments and to feel like you're getting in TikTok's bad books and to risk a bunch of things. It's hard.
Especially a platform where you've built your entire following, and I'd argue some of them their entire careers on that platform.
Yeah.
It'd be really tough.
Yeah. Anyway, watch this space. Let's see if it gets more coverage. It may do by the time you are listening to this podcast, by the way.
I doubt it. Let's see.
Yep. All right, that is my note.